Have you ever stopped for a moment and asked yourself the most important question of all? Why am I here? We live in a world filled with distractions, where success is measured by wealth, fame, and power, yet so many people still feel empty inside. Deep down, every heart is searching for meaning, for clarity, for peace, and that's exactly where Islam comes in, not as a religion of rituals alone, but as a complete way of life. This is not just about prayer or fasting, it's about finding balance in your daily struggles, discovering purpose in your challenges, and connecting every breath you take to something far greater than yourself. Islam speaks to the mind, the body, and the soul all at once. It gives guidance for family, for work, for justice, for compassion, and for the way you live every single day. In this speech, we're going to dive deep into what it really means to live Islam as a complete way of life. You'll see how it answers the questions of purpose, how it shapes character, and how it brings peace even in the most chaotic times. Stay with me until the end, because these words aren't just information. They might just change the way you see your entire life. The first keynote and purpose of life in Islam strikes at the heart of one of humanity's oldest and deepest questions: why are we here? Islam gives a clear and profound answer to this by teaching that our existence is not random, nor is it meant to be wasted in chasing temporary pleasures. Every human being is created with intention, not accident, and that intention is to worship Allah and to live with meaning. Worship in Islam is not restricted to rituals like prayer or fasting alone, but it is a way of aligning every action with the consciousness of God. Even the most ordinary moments, eating, working, speaking, or resting, can become acts of worship if done with sincerity and gratitude. This purpose goes beyond personal benefit. It provides a framework for dignity, responsibility, and accountability. Islam emphasizes that life is a test, and every choice carries weight. When someone understands this, their struggles, their joys, and their hardships all take on new meaning. Suffering is not just random pain. It becomes a path of growth and purification. Success is not just about wealth or power. It becomes a means of gratitude and service. In this way, Islam reframes human existence from chasing fleeting satisfaction to pursuing eternal significance at its core. The purpose of life in Islam is about recognizing our Creator, submitting to His will, and striving to live in harmony with His guidance. It offers clarity in a world full of confusion. Instead of being trapped in cycles of materialism or emptiness, Islam anchors the soul to something eternal. It answers the silent cry in every heart that asks, "What am I doing here?" With a response that is both simple and transformative. You are here to worship, to live with meaning, and to return to the one who gave you life. The second keynote, balance in every aspect, is one of the most remarkable qualities of Islam because it teaches that life is not about extremes but about harmony. It recognizes that human beings are both physical and spiritual, and each side requires care. Islam does not tell a person to isolate themselves from the world and live only in prayer, nor does it allow complete indulgence in worldly pleasures without accountability. Instead, it creates a balance where a person can enjoy the beauty of life while keeping their soul connected to their Creator. This balance is reflected in daily practices. For example, prayer anchors the heart to God 5 times a day, while work, family life, and social responsibilities are equally encouraged. Fasting is not just about depriving the body, but about disciplining desires, while charity balances personal wealth with social responsibility. Islam also discourages overburdening oneself in acts of worship beyond capacity, because spirituality is meant to uplift, not to be weak. At the same time, it warns against neglecting worship in the name of worldly success. Both sides must move together like 2 wings of a bird for a person to truly fly. This principle of balance extends to relationships, justice, and even emotions. Islam teaches kindness without weakness, courage without arrogance, generosity without wastefulness, and enjoyment without excess. It does not demonize wealth, but it insists that wealth should not control the heart. It does not suppress desires, but it provides a healthy way to fulfill them. By maintaining this middle path, Islam prevents a person from losing themselves in materialism or drifting into detachment that ignores real-world duties. The balance it offers creates a complete system where faith, reason, body, and soul work in harmony, guiding a person toward fulfillment in both this world and the next. The third keynote, in guidance for all fields, highlights how Islam is not confined to the walls of a mosque or the moments of worship, but extends into every area of human life. Unlike systems that separate faith from daily responsibilities, Islam offers a framework that connects belief with action. It gives principles for family, business, health, justice, leadership, and even personal habits, ensuring that no part of life is left without direction. This is what makes Islam a complete way of life, because it does not only tell people what to believe, but also how to live those beliefs in practice. In family life, Islam provides guidance on respect between spouses, love and responsibility in raising children, and kindness toward parents. In business, it lays down rules of fairness, honesty, and prohibition of exploitation, making wealth something that is earned ethically rather than through oppression. In health, it encourages cleanliness, moderation in food, and protection of the body as a trust from Allah. In justice, it emphasizes that no one is above the law, not even rulers, and that fairness must prevail, even if it goes against one's own interests. In leadership, Islam stresses accountability, consultation, and service to the people rather than domination. Even in the smallest actions of daily life, Islam offers guidance, beginning a task with the name of Allah, showing gratitude for food, being truthful in speech, and respecting neighbors. What is remarkable is that these teachings are not rigid restrictions, but principles that allow human beings to flourish while remaining grounded in morality. This comprehensive nature of Islam prevents a person from living in compartments, where faith is one thing and life is another. Instead, it blends the two seamlessly, creating a system where every choice, big or small, has meaning and contributes to the greater purpose of serving Allah. The fourth keynote, universal values, reflects the timeless principles in Islam that transcend cultures, races, and generations. These values are not bound to one region or one people, but are meant for all of humanity, because they appeal to the natural sense of right and wrong placed within every human heart. Justice, compassion, honesty, equality, and peace form the foundation of these values, shaping a society where dignity and fairness prevail. Islam emphasizes that justice is a duty, not an option, and it must be upheld even when it goes against personal desires or the interests of powerful groups. Justice in Islam is seen as the backbone of stability, protecting the rights of individuals and ensuring balance in society. Compassion is another value deeply embedded in Islam. The Quran repeatedly reminds believers of Allah's mercy, encouraging them to mirror that mercy in their dealings with others. This compassion extends to the poor, the orphan, the traveler, and even to animals and the environment, showing that kindness is not selective, but a way of life. Honesty is upheld as a mark of faith, and falsehood is seen as a betrayal that erodes trust within communities. Through truthfulness, trust is built, and relationships, whether personal or professional, remain strong. Equality is also at the heart of Islam, where superiority is not determined by wealth, race, or social status, but by piety and character. This removes barriers that divide people and fosters unity across differences. Peace, both inner and social, is the ultimate aim, where individuals find tranquility in their hearts through submission to Allah, and societies find harmony through justice and compassion. These universal values make Islam relevant in every age and every place, offering solutions that can guide humanity toward fairness, dignity, and lasting peace. The fifth keynote, connection to the Creator, is the essence of Islam and the heartbeat of faith because everything in life flows from the relationship between the human being and Allah. This connection is not limited to abstract belief, but is experienced through daily actions that keep the soul anchored to its purpose. Prayer is the clearest form of this relationship, repeated 5 times a day to bring the believer back to alignment, no matter what distractions or struggles surround them. Each prayer is a reminder that human beings are not self-sufficient, that they are dependent on their Creator for strength, guidance, and mercy. It is like a lifeline that keeps the heart alive and prevents it from drowning in the noise of the world. Fasting is another powerful way this bond is strengthened. By willingly holding back from food, drink, and desires, the believer realizes the depth of their reliance on Allah. The act of sacrifice transforms hunger into spiritual awareness and turns discipline into closeness with the one who provides. Charity adds yet another dimension, teaching that wealth is a trust and that serving others is ultimately serving Allah. When one gives from what they love, the connection to the Creator deepens because it mirrors His generosity and compassion. Remembrance of Allah, whether through Quran recitation or quiet reflection, weaves this connection into every moment of life. Even ordinary actions like eating, working, or speaking can become acts of worship if done with sincerity for His sake. In this way, the connection is not bound to rituals alone, but becomes a lifestyle of constant awareness. The result of such a relationship is peace in the heart, clarity in the mind, and direction for the soul. A believer who nurtures this connection walks through life knowing they are never alone, always guided, and always returning to the one who created them. The sixth keynote, Islam as a lifestyle, not just a religion, emphasizes that Islam is not confined to rituals performed at certain times, but extends into every choice, habit, and decision a person makes. It is not something to be practiced only inside a mosque or on special occasions, but a constant guide that shapes the way a person lives each day. This perspective transforms faith from being a set of obligations into a holistic way of life where spiritual, moral, and practical dimensions are all connected. Islam encourages believers to live with consciousness of Allah in every situation, whether they are with family, at work, or alone. What makes Islam unique is that it integrates worship into daily living. Eating becomes an act of gratitude when one begins with the name of Allah. Earning money becomes a form of worship when it is done with honesty and fairness. Even rest and sleep are given value when they are taken with the intention of renewing energy to serve Allah better. By turning ordinary acts into meaningful ones, Islam ensures that a believer's entire life is filled with purpose. This lifestyle also shapes character, guiding people to be truthful, patient, compassionate, and just. It influences how one treats neighbors, respects parents, and raises children. It governs how leaders serve their people and how communities care for the vulnerable. Islam provides boundaries that protect individuals from harm while still allowing them to enjoy the blessings of life. By following this way, a person is never divided between faith and worldly life, because both merge into one seamless journey. Living Islam as a lifestyle means carrying faith beyond prayer mats and into every corner of existence, making every moment a step closer to the Creator and every action a reflection of His guidance. In the end, Islam is not just a religion you practice a few hours a week. It is a complete way of life that gives purpose, balance, guidance, values, and an unshakable connection to the Creator. It teaches us how to live with meaning, how to treat others with justice and compassion, and how to walk through this world with peace in our hearts and clarity in our actions. When you look at it closely, Islam does not just answer the question of why we are here. It shows us how we should live while we are here. Every step, every choice, every breath becomes part of a greater journey that leads us back to the one who created us. That is the power of Islam as a complete way of life. It doesn't separate your faith from your world. It blends the two and makes both richer, Good luck on your own journey of reflection and growth. May these words inspire you to see life through a deeper lens, and may you always find peace, strength, and direction in the guidance of Allah. Thank you for giving your time, your heart, and your attention. May you be blessed with clarity, wisdom, and success in this life and the next.